Hi, this is Ann from the Olive Scene, and thank you for joining me on our Facebook Live for April. I am very excited about this because Easter is in a couple days, and this garlic lemon broccoli would be a really nice accompaniment to whatever you are making for Easter. You can see that our setup, probably if you've joined us previously, is a little bit different. So I'm doing this by myself. Thank goodness I have Becky on the computer on FaceTime, and she is going to forward me questions. So we have two things going here at once. I will try and keep up and listen to her. So send in your questions as usual on the link. And if you come up with a question later, of course, you can always message us. So our flavor of the month is our roasted garlic olive oil. That's this one. And it is, if you're a garlic lover, you're just gonna love this. It's a staple here. I use it all the time because I just love that addition of garlic into my cooking. It makes it very simple because this oil tastes like if you have roasted an entire head of garlic, that oil that comes from the garlic, that's exactly what this tastes like. It's absolutely wonderful. We're also gonna use our Sicilian lemon balsamic vinegar. This is a white balsamic vinegar, so it's a little more snappy and crisp. And of course, garlic and lemon is like a marriage. So we're gonna use those two. Okay, I'm gonna get things going, but I'm gonna do a little bit different than the recipe is calling for in the order it's calling, just because I have this little tiny space here to work with. So I'm gonna start with the vinaigrette. I'm gonna use a tiny little jar here. And these are great for shaking up a vinaigrette. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use the whole thing. Remember, we are using very fresh and intensely flavored oils and vinegars. And so that makes really great cooking. It makes for a really great finished product. We want to make sure that we enhance the taste of the broccoli and everything else that's going into it. And don't cover it up. You don't want to do that. So I'm going to start with my salt and pepper, just a nice grind of pepper. This is our Seasonello white Italian flaked sea salt. Love this sea salt. It has a little shaker top, which is really nice. I'm going to put a little shake in there. And it also has iodine added, which is not something that is usual in sea salts. So when you do a vinaigrette, seasonings always go in first. Then I'm going to put my 1 tablespoon of Sicilian lemon balsamic vinegar. And I'm going to shake that up. I'm going to let that salt dissolve. I'm going to soften the pepper. Because remember, vinegar is a great tenderizer. It'll tenderize just about anything.
Donna says hello.
Donna, thanks for joining again. And hi to Brenda as well. Next that's going in is my 2 tablespoons of the garlic olive oil. That is an infused olive oil. They roast the garlic, they make an essential oil, and it goes into a fresh pressed extra virgin olive oil. Okay. Of course, when you do a vinaigrette, you can whisk it. You can shake it vigorously in a jar, or you can also use a blender. But this is such a small amount that I'm just gonna give it a good shake. I'll probably need to shake it again right before we dress the broccoli because that is what we call an unstable emulsion. It's gonna separate because there's nothing in there to hold it together. So vinaigrette is ready to go. Very simple. Sicilian lemon balsamic vinegar, the garlic, olive oil, salt and pepper. Simple. When you use fresh ingredients, great cooking does not take a whole lot of ingredients. While this is heating up, the next thing I wanted to talk about how I steam the broccoli. You can do it one of 3 ways. I'm going to put water in the bottom of a frying pan, and the frying pan is big enough that I'll probably get like 2 layers of broccoli on there. So the bottom will hit the water, but the rest will get steam coming up. This is a great way to do it. You can also, where'd it go? I must have put it away. Okay, the other way to do it is a steamer basket in the bottom of a pot. And you want to make sure that the water doesn't come up above the steamer basket or a rack. You can do that as well. The third way is in the microwave. And if you do it in the microwave, you want to do the same thing. We don't want to boil the broccoli. We want the broccoli to be a little bit firm, but done, tender, and you don't want it mushy. That's the one thing you don't want to do, because we're going to be adding a vinaigrette to that, which again, remember, a vinaigrette is going to tenderize a little bit. So we're going to just do a nice steam on this and let that broccoli become nice and vibrantly green. And that's what happens when it's not overcooked. It's a nice, beautiful green color. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to use about, can you see this here? About 1/4 to 1/2 inch of water. It really doesn't take much. As soon as that comes to a boil, sorry about that. As soon as that comes to a boil, we're going to put the broccoli and put the lid on and let it steam. No salt, nothing in the water. We're just going to do the broccoli. It's just because when we dress this broccoli when it's warm, that vinaigrette is really going to soak into the broccoli. One other thing you want to have on hand is a bowl to put the cooked broccoli into. I don't want to put the vinaigrette right on top of the broccoli in this pan because there may still be some water in the bottom. So we're going to take that broccoli out. While that's heating up, let's talk about the broccoli. This is about 4 cups. It was about 2 heads of broccoli, and I cut it down into small little florets that are all about the same size. I did the bigger ones, I cut them in half for 2 reasons. One, when I serve this, I think it's nice to be able to just pick up a bite and eat it without having to use a knife and cut it up, and it's nice to have it ready to go on your plate. The other reason is I've given it a couple more sides to pick up more of that vinaigrette. So it's going to coat this on all sides, which will be a nice flavor. Key again, we don't want to use too much. So that's why I have a separate bowl that is going to go into. This is heating up very slow. We'll give that another minute there. Panko breadcrumbs. I'm using panko breadcrumbs because they're a little bit rougher than a regular Italian breadcrumb that you'll get in the grocery store that you use for coating chicken and things like that. But you can also make these yourself at home. If you have some stale bread, toss it in your food processor and let it just grind up till it's a nice kind of fine. You can see the panko is just a little bit finer, a little bit rougher, but it is still a fine breadcrumb. Okay, come on, a watch pot never boils. For this week, we are going to be open on Friday from 12 to 4, as opposed to from 12 to 6, which has been our hours during this COVID time. Again, you cannot come into the store. Please call your order in or go on our website. You can order it on our website and then choose pick up at a store. We will have it waiting for you. If you'll call as you're on your way, we will have it waiting for you right outside the door. So that's how we're keeping everybody safe. No one is touching our products except for our staff member, and she is sanitizing everything. So we're being very, very conscientious about this, and we hope you are too. I know it's very hard for everyone to stay home. I certainly do hope that while you are home, you're kind of getting into more cooking. You know, when you're working full time and you're outside of the house, you come home during the week and you just want to get dinner on the table, especially if you have kids and activities and all those kinds of things. This is a time to kind of explore some other cooking. And I want to really emphasize how important it is to have wonderful, flavorful ingredients will give you wonderful, flavorful, final product. Okay. We are boiling, kind of. I'm going to give it 1 more second.
Melissa said this is our new favorite vinegar at our house. We love to mash up avocados with infused splashes of Sicilian lemon, balsamic vinegar, and sea salt.
Fabulous, Lisa. In case you didn't hear that.
Melissa.
Oh, Melissa. I'm sorry. Thank you, Melissa. She said they use a fresh avocado, mash it up with Sicilian lemon, balsamic vinegar, and some salt and pepper. Absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. And that vinegar, again, will help your avocado from turning brown. Okay, we're going to town, finally. Okay, the water is boiling. I'm going to put the broccoli in.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Lynn. Thank you for joining us. If anyone has any questions about the store, about how things are working, about any of our products, we've been working very hard at getting some of our other products up on our website so that you can order them for pickup as well. Okay, lid is on. I'm going to let that go 5 minutes, and while that is going, I'm going to start our I'm going to actually put it behind me. I'm going to start our panko breadcrumbs, and that'll get those two going. I'm going to toss this behind me and let it keep going so we can keep moving. And we just need about, I'm going to check that in 4 minutes and see how it's coming. Okay, on to the topping, which is going to be our panko breadcrumbs. I have 1/3 of a cup of the panko breadcrumbs. I have 3 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to give that a little mix. We're going to add a little bit of pepper to that. I'm not going to add any salt because Parmesan cheese has a little saltiness on its own. And that's ready to go. This is so easy, and it's just going to elevate that broccoli to something different from what you've had in the past. 1 tablespoon of the garlic olive oil, and I did measure it because usually I put a glug in, but with this amount of breadcrumbs, I really don't want to get them too oily. So we're going to let that get nice and hot, which this pan already is hot. And we're going to give that a little drizzle. And we are going to, my spoon. Thought I have everything here. We're going to just turn this around, fold it over, turn it over. Everything will get coated. It'll get a little bit sticky, and then it'll start to brown and break up again. So keep it moving. You want to make sure, even though this is a hot pan and the oil is hot, you want to make sure that you keep this moving because the Parmesan cheese and the breadcrumbs will burn. We want this to be nicely golden. We want to get all sides of it. Which brings me to another point as far as this being hot, and it was smoky, but it did not reach its smoke point. A smoke point of an olive oil is that moment right before flash fire. That is different than it heating up and getting a little bit smoky or a little bit steamy. A smoke point, if you reach it with an olive oil, you'll smell it. It smells pretty bad. And you want to put a lid on that pan and get it off the stove as quickly as possible. And you put the lid on it so it doesn't get any more oxygen, so it doesn't flame. Okay, these are coming along, getting browned. They smell wonderful, very garlicky. And I can smell that Parmesan cheese getting toasted as well as the bread. Okay, how am I doing on time on that broccoli there, Becky?
We've got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. That's going to be just about the right time. So if you were doing this on your stove and you had more than one burner, the minute you put your broccoli on, you can start your vinaigrette, you can start your breadcrumbs, and they'll all be ready to go, done and ready to go at the same time. Okay, these are done. So you can see them. I'm going to move this out of the way here. Okay.
We need Willy Wonka's smell of vision.
Yes, we do. What was that called? The Wonka vision?
I think so.
Yeah. I know some of my neighbors, with all the cooking that's going on, some of them are like, oh wow, it's been really great getting into cooking. I forgot how much I enjoyed it when I wasn't rushed. And other ones are saying, I feel like I've already cooked 365 days this month. So it is fun though. It's fun to try some new things. We've got some great products. I did a little plug for we have a new bread mix. So if you're into making bread, or if you want to try your hand at making bread, It's great. It's got everything you need in it. It's a no-knead bread, which is really very nice. Okay, our breadcrumbs are done. We've got our vinaigrette ready to go. All we need is our broccoli, and I'm going to give it a test. Oh, it's perfect. Okay, so I am going to move the broccoli. I've got this wonderful slotted spoon, or you could use a colander and drain it, but I've got a great slotted spoon. There's not much water left in there, which is perfect. That means it wasn't boiling in the water. See how beautifully green it is? It's great. I am not putting it in my serving dish yet because I want to give it a minute with the vinaigrette and make sure that I'm using enough but not too much. If I put it in my serving dish and then just pour it all over, I may overdress it.
Jessica says she loves using the garlic oil versus minced garlic.
It is a real time saver. The garlic oil is a wonderful time saver from using minced garlic. It also is from roasted garlic, so it has that wonderful roasted taste of the garlic. So I shook this up once more. I'm going to use about half. Now, when you see me do roasted vegetables and I have my raw vegetables in here and I toss the whole bowl, I'm not going to do that with this because I certainly don't want to break up this broccoli. Oh my gosh, the smell is amazing. Okay, so how do you test that you have enough vinaigrette on there? We're going to pull out a small little one, as soon as I find one. And you give it a taste. Same thing you do with your salad. When you dress your salad, underdress it, toss it, taste it. It's very hard to tell if it's dressed enough. It's easy to tell if you've overdressed it because you have a pool of the dressing in the bottom. That's amazing, but I am going to put a little bit more. It looks like the whole thing is going to be right for this. Great recipe. I haven't made it in quite a while, so I couldn't remember if I used it all. I always start small. Okay, let me try another one. Oh my gosh, this smells fabulous. If you're making this for Easter, double it, triple it. It's really nice as a leftover because it's a nice firm broccoli. You can put it on a pasta salad. You can toss it in some scrambled eggs in the morning. Plus, everyone is going to be picking at it. Okay, broccoli is good. I'm going to get my serving.
I'm not there.
I know. Usually Becky and I, after Facebook Live, we sit down and eat together. So, sorry, Becky. Okay. I am using a kind of a full because I don't want to pile it up too much because the breadcrumbs, I am not going to toss the breadcrumbs into it. I'm going to finish it with the breadcrumbs on top. So broccoli's ready to go. Looks great. Breadcrumbs, you can break them up if when they're sitting there, they kind of stuck together. Parmesan. Panko garlic breadcrumbs. Oh my gosh. Fabulous. I wish you were all coming over. But when this is all over, everyone needs to have a big party. A nice big family picnic, get-together celebration. And there we have it. Garlic and lemon broccoli with panko Parmesan breadcrumbs. Fabulous for your Easter dinner. It looks amazing. It smells amazing. I'm sure it tastes amazing with it all together. Any questions? Again, forward them through Facebook and we can answer them. If you have favorite things to do with garlic infused olive oil, add those on because, of course, customers love to see what other customers are doing with our products. Order online for shipping. Order online for pickup outside the door, or you can even call a store for pickup outside the door as well. Thank you for joining me. Everyone have a happy, happy Easter.